Elston, Mass, 10 May 1968. My dear Dayananda, please accept my blessings. I thank you very much for your check, which I beg to acknowledge received herewith. I am so pleased to learn that you are constantly trying to follow my instructions. Of course, I have no particular instructions save and accept the instruction which I have also heard from my spiritual master. So all instructions in the disciplic succession directly comes from the Supreme Person. Therefore, to follow the instructions of a spiritual master is to follow the instructions of the Supreme Person. And as soon as we are accustomed to this habit, then all our misgivings of material existence are over. Your ambition for chanting Hare Krishna exclusively is very good, but sacrificing the results of action is as good. A concrete example is Arjun. He fought very chivalrously under the instructions of the Lord, and the Lord certified him to be the best devotee and friend of the Lord. So there is no distinction between chanting and offering the results of one's activity. Sometimes, under the garb of chanting, people take to the habit of laziness, which is not required at all. Execution of devotional service is prescribed first with enthusiasm and patience. One can execute these transcendental activities staying as he is, but he must follow and try to apply in practical life the instructions as they are given in the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, received through the proper channel. I thank you once more for your progress in the matter of Krishna consciousness, and I shall always pray to Krishna for your steady progress more and more, along with your nice wife. Hope you are all three well. Your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. So in this letter, uh, Srila Prabhupada is telling that whatever instructions I have got from my spiritual master, those are the same instructions which I am giving to all of you. All instructions in the disciplic succession comes directly from Supreme Person. So when we follow the instructions of a spiritual master, that means follow the instructions of the Supreme Person. This Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here. And then he is glorifying that chanting is good and offering the results of action is also good. And he gave the example that offering based on the instructions of Lord Krishna, Arjuna offered the results of his actions, and that's why there is no distinction between chanting and offering the results of one's activities. And one should not be lazy in the garb of chanting. These things Srila Prabhupada is making the point here. And Amritesh Gaurav is there. Amritesh Gaurav.
Rikish Kojikaja, I'm a little outside. Sorry.
Oh, acha. Ramlila Prabhu, can you read? Or should I?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Letter to Sachisuth, Alston, Mass, 30th May 1968. My dear Sachisuth, please accept my blessings. I am very glad to receive your letter dated May 26, 1968, along with beads, and I am so pleased that you are seeking for being initiated. So, after due chanting, I am sending both your beads by separate first class post parcel. Receive it and chant without any offense. The 10 kinds of offenses are like this: blaspheming the Lord's devotee, considering the Lord and the demigods on the same level, or assuming there are many gods, neglecting the orders of the spiritual master, minimizing the authority of the scriptures, interpreting, interpreting, interpreting the holy name of God, committing sin on the strength of chanting, instructing the glories of the Lord's name to the unfaithful, comparing the holy name with material piety, inattention while chanting the holy name, attachment to material things while engaged in the practice of chanting. So you follow those principles as well as the four restrictive rules, namely no addiction to indulgence in any form of intoxication, including coffee, tea, and cigarettes. No illicit sexual relationships. Must be strictly vegetarian. No gambling, and the other standard practices for initiated devotees. Must attend evening and morning classes. Should not extensively mix with non devotees. Should not eat food cooked by non devotees. Should not waste time in idle talks. Should not become engaged in frivolous sports. Should always chant and sing the Lord's holy names. Chanting, as enunciated by Lord Chaitanya, is the only means for spiritual realization in this age of dissension. So chant at least 16 rounds daily, and for other help, you can ask assistance from your elderly God brothers. Hope you are well. Your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Here, Prabhupada mentioned, gave beats, and so nicely, Prabhupada mentioned 10 holy names offenses, also four regulative principles, and after that, personal or other instructions also, that not taking parts in sports, frivolous sports, not wasting time, idle talks, or not associating more with non-devotees. Such a wonderful letter, very instructive. Thank you.
Letter to Sivananda, Los Angeles, 11 November 1968. My dear Sivananda, please accept my blessings. I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated November 1, 1968. And I am glad to inform you that as directed by you, I have sent the 3 letters to the following personalities. Minister in charge of Cultural and Religious Affairs, Mr. Michael Vale, and Dr. Irwin. The body of the letter is the same as you drafted. Now you can do the needful and inquire whether they have received the letters. I hope very soon you will find out a suitable place in Hamburg and start the temple. And if required, you can take assistance from Syam Sundar for the deities. I am glad to learn that Krishna has got a job in a jewelry shop. Similarly, both you and Uttama Sloka may also find out some job and immediately take a nice apartment. If storefront is too costly, then you can start the center in some apartment and try to invite people there and live together. Regarding your question about living alone, living alone is a general tendency for a person who wants to get disassociated with the materialistic persons. That is also recommended by the Goswamis in their instructions. It is better to remain alone than to mix with materialistic persons. But this is not applicable when we have the opportunity to get the association of pure devotees. Our program is negative and positive simultaneously. We want to negate the materialistic side and make positive the spiritual side. It is not one-sided. If you have no positive standing, negating only will not make you successful. Therefore, it is better to remain positively within the society of pure devotees. That is also recommended by the Goswamis, that one should be occupied in activities in the modes of goodness and associate with spiritualistic persons. That will make one's advancement very quick. Persons who want to take advantage of cheap reputation, they imitate great personalities like Haridas Thakur, who was alone chanting 300,000 of holy names daily. By such chanting, lonely chanting, he got so much spiritual power that he could convert even a harlot to become a great devotee. Whereas an ordinary person falls easily, a victim to such allurement. So one should not imitate such great personalities, but one should try to see how much taste he has developed for chanting, so that one can remain alone, simply being engaged in chanting. If one can remain alone, simply being engaged in chanting, that is very good, but it is difficult also. A conditioned soul in conditioned life, it is very difficult to concentrate our mind in chanting absolutely. Better to be engaged in preaching work that will make one gradually successful. Besides that, when we are actually engaged in with the preaching work, we gradually acquire our spiritual strength without failure. Regarding Radha Damodar temple, because it is one of the most important temples in Vrindavan, I took shelter in this temple just to improve the dilapidated condition. The present proprietor or the man in charge of this temple, they are most materialistic men and simply utilizing the temple and its property for their sense gratification. If Radha Damodar likes, in future I may be able to do something for this temple. But until I have got the opportunity, probably I am not going again into that temple. I have now new Vrindavan scheme, and I shall try to develop all the important temples of Vrindavan, including Radha Damodar temple, in our new Vrindavan site. No, the moon's phases has nothing to do with spiritual. Yes, the student should agree to be malleable by the spiritual master, then his success is sure. In your western part of the world, people are falsely taught not to become slavish. Everyone wants to assert his personal views and opinion without following any authority. That is the general tendency. But although such persons claim not to be slaves, actually they are slaves to the senses. So instead of being a slave of the senses, if one voluntarily becomes the slave of Krishna or his representative, that is good for him. This is Maya, thinking that we are independent. We are slaves. Every moment we are serving our senses. We are slaves to so many abominable things, to drugs, intoxication, sex, doing the most abominable things in the service of the senses. So it is not slavish when one agrees to become slave of Krishna and his representative. Then this is liberated position, liberated from being slave to the senses. Yes, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, "My dear Vaishnav Thakur, spiritual master, let me become your dog, and I shall remain at your door, and I shall guard against any nonsense persons trying to enter. And whatever food you will give me, I shall eat, and I shall remain as your dog. Your specific talents are to be engaged under direction of the spiritual master. Every talent can be employed in Krishna's service, and how to do it is known to the spiritual master. You have the tendency for botany. You can grow nice flowers and fruits for Krishna. That is the utilization of your natural tendency. If you have got specific training in this connection, then after establishing this center in Hamburg, you can come to our new Vrindavan and grow things. Or you can grow things in Hamburg also. Fruits and flowers can be produced anywhere. Yes, these your questions are very intelligent questions. Hoping you are all well. Your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. So this is a long letter, a long and important letter. Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that from the beginning. Srila Prabhupada has written letter to some of the ministers, and he expects Sivanand Prabhu to do the needful, and Syam Sundar Prabhu can go for help. And then Prabhupada is writing about if because the initial condition maybe there is the financial crunch. So Prabhupada is telling that if storefront is costly, we can start the center in some apartment. Starting the center is very easy. We can just take some apartment and try to invite people there.
That means Prabhupada is saying any Grihastha's house should be a center.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, any Grihastha's house can be center. And then he's talking about living alone. Yeah, he's giving the difference between living alone and living with the devotees. Living away from the materialistic association is good, but that is the negative injunction. The positive injunction is to get the association of pure devotees. That's why he's writing, if you have no positive standing, negating only will not make you successful. So
And really you want to do Nirjan Bhajan, then see how long you can chant alone. Then you are qualified to become remain alone.
Okay, so Maharaj, regarding Radha Damodar temple, Prabhupada is writing here. So still the management relates to the same people now also.
Yeah, because when Guru Maharaj was shooting, they are not allowing Guru Maharaj to shoot that place.
Acha, okay.
But Guru Maharaj negotiated with some local public, then he allowed to do shooting for Avacharan. And as we are giving, but somewhere or other by Krishna's mercy, we are giving rent to that place where Prabhupada used to stay. We're not interfering their management, they're not interfering our management also. This is our control. We offer bhoga to Prabhupada.
Okay. So, Ramlila Prabhu, you will read. Or Amritesh Gaur Prabhu, are you in the right place now?
Yes, I can read.
Okay.
Thank you. Letter to Brahmananda, Los Angeles, 20 November 1968. My dear Brahmananda, please accept my blessings. I am in due receipt of your letter of the 17th of November, and I have noted the contents carefully. Yes, get the books from Japan as soon as possible. And I have also written them one letter which you will find enclosed herewith. They have agreed to gold print on the cover. That is all right. So get it as soon as possible. I think the binding is all right. So not delay, just try to get them as soon as possible. Regarding Uddhav, I am very glad that he is going to marry Leela Sukha. She is a very nice girl. I approve. They can wait and finish school as her mother desires, but they can become betrothed, engaged now. Find out whether Umapati can translate Back to Godhead into French language. He knows French language. Or any other boy or girl who can help in translating Back to Godhead into French. It is very nice that you shall speak on this at the yoga group program. Subal should read carefully that Hatha Yoga received in the Bhagavad Gita is very difficult in this age. Yoga system is approved, but nobody can follow the rules and regulations strictly. Neither there is suitable place for executing it, and everyone is always full of anxiety. So how they can concentrate? So best thing is to chant Hare Krishna, which is forced meditation. In this way, make nice speech and conclude with declaring that the topmost yogi is he who surrenders to Krishna and worships Krishna with all thoughts, activities, and intelligence. Hope you are well. Your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami.
Yes, Amritesh Prabhu, can you summarize?
Okay, okay. Here, Srila Prabhupada writes how Subal Prabhu should speak, and Prabhupada had full confidence that he can speak very nicely. Prabhupada told how he can speak, that Hatha Yoga is not possible in this age, and so Prabhupada approved the marriage of one couple, and Prabhupada wanted someone to translate in French the back to God.
Ramlila Prabhu.
Letter to Shivananda, Los Angeles, 4th December 1968. My dear Shivananda, please accept my blessings. I have received your most recent letter, undated, and have noted the contents. I am so happy that by next week you will move into our new temple site and that you and Krishna Das shall both be working, so there will be no difficulty in financing. It's all Krishna's grace. So far as Achyutanand and Jai Govind, yes, one of you may write to invite them to your temple in Hamburg. In this connection, I have already dispatched one letter to them and I am still awaiting their reply. Regarding your first question, is it offensive to think of Krishna's pastimes while chanting? I think you should know that it is not offensive, but rather it is required. One must try for the point when he simply hears Krishna and immediately all of Krishna, his pastimes, his form, his quality are in his thoughts. So too, always be immersed in thoughts of Krishna. This is our process. When we are full in Krishna, then where there can be any chance for Maya in us. So, this is our duty to remember Krishna's pastime. One who cannot remember Krishna, let him always hear Hare Krishna. And then, when he has perfected this art, then always he will remember Krishna, his activities, his qualities, etc. The answer to your second question is that when one becomes accustomed to inoffensive chanting, then his fruit is that he is promoted to the stage of pure love of Godhead or prema. This prema is the perfectional stage of consciousness and the most blissful by very far. So far as singing of the Christian hymns, if others sing this, we have no objection. It is very nice. But in these hymns, they have no definite idea of what is God. We are directly approaching and praying to Krishna for the highest benediction of eternal devotional service. So we do not require to repeat the Christian hymns. Our point is to always follow the example of the acharyas, and this will bring us to the perfectional stages with no doubt. For the Christian hymn you describe, the example may be given of where one person is appreciating that water is very nice and another is tasting water. So when we taste water, the appreciation automatically is there. And when we have taste for chanting, automatically the appreciation is there for God. I hope that you are well along with Krishnadas and Uttam Shlok. Please keep me informed of progress with our Hamburg Center. Your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Write to Jai Govind at Indraprasth, Gaudiya Math, Deen Ka Talab, Malakkanj. Malkaganj, Delhi 6, India. Also, Achyutanand at Radha Damodar Temple, Seva Kunj, Post Office, Vrindavan, District Mathura, India. Here, it's a wonderful letter by Srila Prabhupada. Here, Srila Prabhupada mentioning two things, answer of two questions of Shivanand Prabhu. First is remembering pastimes of Lord Krishna while chanting. So Prabhupada said it is required. It is actually our process. And one should practice for this, that whenever he hears Krishna, then Krishna or his pastimes, his qualities should come into his thoughts, and that will be his immersed in Krishna's consciousness. And second question, answer of second question, that is, okay, when one is immersed, accustomed to inoffensive chanting, then its fruit is prema, and that is the most blissful stage. And later on, Prabhupada is mentioning the point of that Christian hymns we not need to sing when we have already been chanting. And here analogy of water Prabhupada is giving, when one is glorifying water and whether another is tasting water. So what is more better and what is more important? So better when we are already tasting water. So what is the point? We are indirectly we have already glorified water. So similarly, if we are chanting holy names, then we are automatically accepting and we are glorifying Lord directly. So we don't need to go with Christian hymns, which is indirect way. Hare Krishna.
Should we go for one more letter, or should we stop now?
The letter is big or?
Uh, two pages.
You can stop here.
Okay. Okay. Ma'am.
Thank you, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Actually, I'm suffering with viral fever. Reading, coughing, that is I'm not reading. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.